Aries, and welcome to your forecast for May 2022. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Justina and I use Western Astrology, Tropical, Zodiac and the whole sign system for all the forecasts on this channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the main events happening in May 2022 and I will tell you how they will influence your zodiac sign. These forecasts are most accurate for the rising sign. However, you can also watch them for your moon sign or for your sun sign if you wish. So let's begin. Now, May is a very interesting month for you, dear Aries, because Mars will be in your sign, Venus, and of course Jupiter. Jupiter is moving here as well. So lots of interesting events. And if you felt like things have been kind of moving at a much slower pace in the last few months or weeks, or perhaps you lacked energy, now in May you will regain your vitality, you will regain your strength, and you will see that life will start to move at a much faster pace. Now, the month begins here on a very positive note because we've got Venus moving into your sign on the 2nd of the month, and that's here into your first house. So here with Venus in your first house until May 28th, so the whole month. Venus will be in Aries. So what does it mean for you? This means that you will attract positive energy. So Venus will help you to attract positive energies, but also you'll make a better impression on others, more charming, more loving. Now, at the same time, we also have the Sun and Uranus conjunction, which will be exact on May the 5th at 14 degrees of Taurus. So here, the first days of the month could be pretty unpredictable, so to speak. This conjunction is happening in your second house, where also the solar eclipse in Taurus took place on April the 30th. So here your financial sphere is still pretty much influenced after the solar eclipse in Taurus, and with the Sun and Uranus conjunction in your second house, you might receive some money unexpectedly. So generally with Uranus involved, things happen unexpectedly, suddenly, and often out of our control. Now with the Sun here involved in this conjunction here, unexpected news or financial transaction, anything connected to your income, to your finances, or perhaps you might receive a gift, or you might decide you want to make a major purchase pretty unexpectedly. Now, since the Sun also rules your 5th house of creativity, children, romance, and hobbies and interests, you might also unexpectedly receive some money through any interest or hobbies that you may have. Right, so moving forward on May the 10th, we've got two events happening. Now, depending on where in the world you live, this event might happen on the 11th as well. So here I'm talking about Jupiter moving into your sign, Aries, and also Mercury stationing retrograde in Gemini, and this will be at 4 degrees of Gemini. So let's first start from Mercury retrograde. So this retrograde will be in your 3rd house, in the house of communication, short distance travel, and here at 4 degrees of Gemini. And on May 23rd, Mercury will move into Taurus. Well, it will remain in the retrograde motion until June the 1st, and then the retrograde will finish at 26 degrees of Taurus in your 2nd house. So here at the beginning of the month, you will be very busy dealing with your financial sphere, with your security, stability in your life. At the end of the month, you will be reviewing any of these decisions, any of the actions that you took throughout the eclipses season, the beginning of the eclipses season, and also throughout the time when the Sun was here as well. Right, so with Mercury retrograde in your 3rd house, here this could affect your straightforward thinking, rational thinking. You might have to spend more time dealing with paperwork, documents. It's not a good time for starting anything new. So if you want to set up a new business or write a test, make sure that you are well prepared. And if possible, delay these things, because oftentimes with retrogrades, when we do things that are connected to Mercurial things, generally speaking, so anything to do with communication, writing, speaking, oftentimes things don't go the way we want. Now here with Mercury retrograde, make sure you leave early for any important appointments. If you have to write your tests, also make sure that you're well prepared. Make sure that you read everything, because even unintentionally you might miss a question So, and that could affect your overall result. So make sure that you check everything, double check, triple check here with the retrograde. But also here, you might have to check your spam inbox as well, because any emails could also be sent accidentally. Well, it might accidentally end up in your spam inbox as well. So anything connected to writing, communication, reading, rational thinking, this will be affected during this retrograde. This retrograde will only affect your third house for about 12 days. Right, so here, moving forward, Jupiter will enter Aries on the 10th as well, 10th, 11th, until October the 28th in your sign. Here in the May, it will reach the 3rd degrees of Aries. Right, so this transit will really be like a game changer for you, because it could bring really interesting opportunities. You might start new things, anything connected to you, to your persona, also to working independently, doing things independently. So here with Jupiter will square your 10th house cusp and your 4th house cusp. So here your career sphere, your public status, and your home life will be also influenced by this transit. So how could this influence you? Here, this could be a time when whatever you have achieved related to your public status, to your professional life, to your home life, is likely to be not enough for you. So you will want more. You will feel optimistic, you will feel confident that you can achieve more than that you currently have. However, something to pay attention to here is to be realistic, because yes, you will be lucky, you will attract good opportunities and things will be happening. But being realistic here is really important, because with the squares, oftentimes you might exaggerate a certain situation, a certain goal, or perhaps you might be over optimistic. So perhaps you might want to buy a property and you might think that you've got the right amount of money to purchase it, or that you can get enough money to purchase it. But at the end of the day, you might actually not have enough funds, and there could be dissatisfaction and perhaps disappointment as well. So being realistic here is very important, because here you can really make a great progress in your career, in your home life, in your private life with this transit. However, as long as you are realistic about your expectations. Right, so here with Jupiter in the first house, that's what's happening. Now here with Jupiter in the first house, also this is the planet of expansion, of growth. So with Jupiter here, it's very easy to gain weight as well because of your dietary choices. So your dietary choices might also change during this time. Jupiter is connected to fatty foods and saucy foods as well. So here, oftentimes with Jupiter in the first house, our food choices become slightly different, our cravings as well. Right, so moving forward, we've got a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May 16th at 25 degrees of Scorpio. So if you have any planets in one of the fixed signs here around 25 degrees, then you will be especially influenced by this lunar eclipse. This lunar eclipse is happening in your 8th house. This is a very deep eclipse, very profound energies, and it's happening in your 8th house. So for you, it's even a double depth of this lunar eclipse. Is a total solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. So this means that there's a full illumination, full disclosure on what's happening. Here you will be dealing with some deep experiences, with transformation, regeneration, rebirth. Anything that happens in the 8th house, especially with the eclipses, this is usually a transformation, either internal transformation or a transformation of one of the areas of your life. Now, this eclipse will be squared by Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn will be in your 11th house. So there could be a certain degree of anxiety, of fear, if you want to quit smoking or move away from some habits, negative habits. You might doubt yourself. You might think like, or feel like that you're not capable of doing that. But here you will have to overcome these energies, because here the 8th house is also about self-empowerment. Here with the 8th house, you might be also dealing with debts. You might be generally with a lunar eclipse with a south node. This is about completing something, moving away letting go. You might be letting go of something important, a person in your life, a situation, a habit. So you letting go of something, or a person, situation, circumstances, you're moving away, but also you might be dealing with some debts. So you might be able to finally repay some debts or repay the mortgage, or perhaps you might have to take an additional loan. That could also be the case. Generally, also the topics connected to mortality, death after death, these will also be prominent around this lunar eclipse. I'll make a separate video about this lunar eclipse when I will discuss it in more depth. Here, I'm just giving you some details. Now, moving forward on the... Oh, yes, also, around this eclipse, there is also a conjunction between Mars and Neptune, which will be exact on the 18th. So here you might temporarily lack a sense of clarity when it comes to your life direction around this lunar eclipse. So something to kind of also pay attention to, and don't let any energies to drag you down, because here you definitely have the inner strength and inner power to overcome any challenges with the 8th house eclipse. But perhaps someone, a friend, or someone from any group or any club might kind of maybe demotivate you, try to demotivate you here with the square from Saturn. And this could also result in kind of lack of clarity when it comes to your life direction, when it comes to your life in general. So don't let these energies or any people to drag you down, because you've got some really positive transit happening moving forward. So here on the 21st, we've got the Sun moving into Gemini, into your 3rd house. So here, at this time, Mercury is still retrograde in your 2nd house, so you still kind of might be struggling with communication, connecting with others in social situations perhaps, and you might be kind of reviewing your writing skills, your communication skills, your relationship with your siblings. Now, at the same time, when the Sun moves here, so you'll be communicating a lot, traveling, a lot of movement might be happening in your life as well. All right, so let's move on. The 23rd, we've got Mercury moving into your 2nd house, income, finances, your self-esteem and self-worth will be influenced by this retrograde. So here from the 23rd until the 1st of June, and this retrograde will end on the 1st of June at 26 degrees of Taurus. That's when we end it. And throughout this time, you will be reviewing your financial situation, your income, any additional revenues of income, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your skills and talents also. You might be returning to some financial projects from the past, or perhaps this could be also a time when you might be doing budgeting, planning. So anything connected to your money situation will be under a great review. Now on the 24th, we've got Mars moving into Aries, into your sign. So here, finally, your ruler is moving into your sign. So from this point in time, you will feel full of energy, full of vitality, because even though the Sun moved into your 1st house in the 2nd part of April, and that has already energized you to a certain extent, with your ruler moving out of the 12th house into your sign. This is really fantastic. You will see that from this point in time, life will begin to move at a much faster pace. Things that perhaps were on hold will finally start to move forward as well. You will see more results from your hard efforts. Now here on May the 29th, we've got Mars and Jupiter conjunction at 3 degrees of Aries. And this conjunction will be really energizing and will be like a push forward. A great time for really starting something new, initiating. If you already have been working on something important, you might see that things could be really taking a different turn, a more positive turn. So generally a very positive here aspect for you. And this is happening at the same time, pretty much, as the new moon in Gemini. The new moon in Gemini will be exact on the 30th of May at 9 degrees of Gemini. So this is happening in your 3rd house. Now, in the middle of the month, we had a retrograde here. You were reviewing lots of aspects of your life connected to your life within your community, your relationship with your siblings or next of kin, your cousins, your learning abilities as well. Any courses, short courses that perhaps you wanted to take in the past, or perhaps your skills, anything connected to hands, because that's what is oftentimes related to the 3rd house, working with your hands, Gemini. Now, so here with the new moon in Gemini, this is a time of some new beginnings concerning your relationship with your siblings. So this could be a fresh start, or perhaps you might be learning some new skills. You might be traveling as well. There could be something happening in your community around this time, some events, some community events as well. So here, this should be a very energizing time for you, since Mars and Jupiter will align at 3 degrees of Aries in your first house. So you should be pretty positive around this time. Now, on this note, I wish you a pleasant month. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.